I lost $128 trading this week. I guess let's talk about it. I only had one green day this entire week on Wednesday, 2 red days before that, 2 red days after that, and I completely got rid of last week's $100 gains, which obviously sucks. The good news is that I didn't go back into like hesitating to take entries. The bad news is I got absolutely freaking cooked. The good news is I've reviewed my trades and also was able to remove something else from my setups, which hopefully is another step in the direction of helping take more green trades and less red trades, right? I still continue to have my risk management in check, which is the only thing keeping me alive right now, but I just can't seem to get a consistent stream of green trades, and I think it has to do with having too many setups. Even though I only had 5, it's like I'm taking one trade that's this setup, and then I'm taking another trade that's a different setup, which then means that the win ratio for that back-tested setup is not the same anymore because I'm taking a trade from a different back-tested setup, right? So I could be basically stacking up the losses for the setups, even though all of the setups are profitable, I could be like combining losses from the setups, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know if it does or not, but yeah, like, because yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. I think that makes sense. I'm not, because it's not one or two setups, I don't know. I think you get the point. So by taking out another setup that therefore reduces the amount of trades that I enter, which therefore should reduce the amount of possible losses in a row that I could get. I just finished reviewing my trades, and another thing that I did notice is that earlier in the week, I didn't take an entry where I should have. I took it at another location, and I got stopped out, but that same exact setup showed up later in the week, and that's actually the green trade that I got this week because I entered when I was supposed to enter and not after the fact. So let me show you guys what that's looking like. For this month, after this week, back to sitting negative $37 on the month, 38% win rate. This is where I'm struggling right now. I need to get this a little bit higher. I have to be closer to that 50% mark. If I can get to that 50% mark, I should be fine because this is good. So I'm just slacking a little bit on having more green trades. Ugly little head and shoulders there on my my monthly P&L. You see, this is the issue. In the beginning of the month, I was doing okay, like red, green, red, 3 greens in a row, even if it wasn't a full TP. And then we had a little streak of 3, and then 1, and then 3 again. So it's like, I need more greens. I'm not going for these massive RR trades, so I need a little bit more wins to hold up my P&L. So on Monday and Tuesday, there were actually, I think, the same exact trade setup that I didn't enter early enough, and I ended up entering later and then therefore getting stopped out. Although this looks like a valid entry, so I don't know, I'll have to look at that in a second. But there's a 15-minute gap right up here, right? Let me put this 15-minute gap right in here, and we tap into the gap. 15-minute tap, 5-minute trend, check, check. And then we need, for the third piece of the puzzle, we need either a 2-minute or 1-minute inverse, or fair value gap retap, and or aligned on all 3 time frames. That's like the third piece of the puzzle that has a little bit of one of the 3 options. So right here, you can see when it tapped in, it took out these equals, and it inversed. Let me move this guy over. Inverse right here. So if I would have entered, so I could have entered here, stops here, although I have to work on my stops too. I need to figure that out because I feel like I need to give my stops a little bit more room, and the risk for it is just not there yet, but I need to figure out to do it or not because, yeah. So that's on the 2-minute. Let me see what the 1-minute looks like. Maybe we had a higher entry. No, same thing. When we inverse is when we got in. Stops at the high of that candle because it already realistically did the sweep, and then we would be targeting, you know, down here, or I don't know what I would be targeting. I'd have to look, but okay, so that trade would have worked right there if I entered on the inverse when I was supposed to and didn't get scared. I ended up taking a 5-minute gap right here, So it retest. Oh, actually, wow, look at this. I just looked at this. It looks like I once again didn't enter. So that was a different trade. This trade also was an entry that I took late and then I got stopped. So it wasn't a 15, it was a 5 minute gap right here, right? Retapped into the gap. So 5 minute fair value gap with the 5 minute trend, and then the same triple criteria for the end, either a 2 or 1 minute inverse fair value gap. Boom. There's the 1 minute inverse right there. So I could have entered there, stops above the highs, and even if I was targeting this low here, got it. But no, instead I wanted to wait until it came back once again into another 5 minute gap, and then of course, you know, the rest is I get cooked. So that's two trades that if I would have entered them properly, I would have won. Yet here I am taking a trade that's still not, it's not invalid. It's just already late in the game. Like, I'm hesitant to take these earlier trades and then I get cooked. Basically what I'm trying to continue to put into my head here is that I just need to take the setup whenever it's there, regardless of if it's at, you know, 9:45 or 12:45. I can't pick and choose when I want to take it because then that's going to skew my results, right? See, here was 3 possible entries for the same setup, and well, technically the first one was a 15 minute, but for the 5 minutes, and I took the one losing trade out of the 3 because I didn't take the first 2. So I need to like work on that. So one of the other setups that I took out that was a little confusing was like a triple time frame break and retest with a fair value gap, A plus that key level. I don't need to read all that. So I'm trying to simplify it. So right now, my possible entry setups are based off of fair value gaps, key levels, and then one entry is off of a triple break and retest. But the 5 and the 15 minute fair value gap are basically the exact same thing, except with a 5 minute fair value gap or a 15 minute fair value gap. So it's a 5 or 15 minute fair value gap tap with the direction of the 5 minute trend. And then, like I said, that third piece of the puzzle can be one of the 3 things. It could either be a 1 or 2 minute inverse. It could be a 1 or 2 minute like retap into a gap to continue lower. Or if it's also an alignment on 2 time frames, I can take that as well. So that's 2 setups. The third setup is a key level retest, like previous day high, previous day low, break and retest with the direction of the 5 minute trend, and 2 time frames must be aligned. I usually do like the 1, 2, or 5, but 2 time frames out of the 1, 2, 5, or 15 I think would be okay for that because it's with the key level. And then the fourth entry is just a break and retest on all where it lines up with all 3 time frames. The 1, the 2, and the 5 perfectly break and retest, hitting that 20 moving average. And yeah, that's the 4th setup. So right now, those are the only 4 things that I am looking at to enter off of. And it's not like it doesn't show up because we just saw 2 instances of it in the same day. Now we're going to go to Tuesday. Same thing. Setup happened earlier in the day. I ended up getting cooked over here around 11:30 somewhere. So we had a 15-minute bear gap, right? Then we came back and tapped into it here. So if I go down to the 5-minute when it tapped in, okay, so we're tapping in here. Actually, we technically tapped in here. So I probably could have entered. I wonder if they would have both worked. I guess depending on where I would have targeted, huh? So yeah, that 2-minute inverse here. So that would have been an entry. I would have my stop here. How much did I get here? I still would have been able to get a trade here. So also 2 trades. But this was at 9:40. I don't know if there was news on Tuesday. If there was, that would have been a no trade because what did I learn? I shouldn't take a trade before news. Anyway, that was a trade. Then we came back into it again, right? We took that out. So then we're also going with the 5-minute trend and then the same exact setup. So we tapped into this 2-minute gap here. And let's see, is it a 1-minute inverse? Would you look at that? And a 1-minute inverse. Technically over here. Boom. Stops at the high. You see that's a little bit too high for me again. Realistically, I'd probably be here, but that's where I should be. I need to put my stop where it is an actual position, and that's difficult for me because that little bit is a lot of money in options. Boom. Targeting the lows. Could have gotten the 2R right there. So once again, 2 of the exact same setups presented, and then here I am at freaking 11:35 taking an L. So obviously it's you could probably guess this is extremely frustrating to do this, like to see these trades, not take them, see them work out, and then get into a trade and lose. Like, it sucks. But I also have to look at the part of like, it's me, because clearly it works. The setups are playing out again and again. I'm just somehow not in them because I'm whatever the reason is. And then here I ended up taking a short, and obviously it looks like I got just, what was this? Previous day low. I guess it was a fake out below previous day low. 5 minute gap, 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute break and retest. So again, I mean, not a terrible entry. It was just a fake out. But yeah, it just sucks because, you know, that was the trade. So now let's go to the trade that did work out. Here we have Wednesday's trade that was a W. So 15-minute gap. Okay, drop down to the 5 minute, going with the 5 minute 20 trend. Drop down to the 2 minute. Okay, so this is a big inverse gap here. So let me see what's going on the 1 minute. Boom. First inverse right here. I jumped in, short there, stops at the highs, targeting the lows. And I exited a little bit early because this was like an upward trend line and I thought it was going to bounce. There was something else here. I forgot what it was. So I exited a couple, bucks early, but look, it would have hit anyway. So if I wanted to go whatever there. This is the exact same trade setup. The exact same trade setup as was present on Monday and Tuesday multiple times throughout the day. I just didn't enter up here on them. I entered over here, and then I ended up getting stopped out because this was the proper entry, not down here. My issue is not that I don't have a strategy that works. Clearly, we see that it works. My issue is not that I don't know where the market wants to go and target. You guys, if you watch my daily recaps, again and again, I say, directions of if it goes up, it's probably going to go here. If it goes down, it's probably going to go here. Like, I can do that. Like, I could read. I have the technical analysis down. I know the levels that it wants to go to. My issue is still on the entries to get to those levels and the stop out positionings. And if I look at my data, it's not like I don't know where it should go and the actual trade entry. It's just there's some sort of disconnect still happening in my brain when I'm actually trading. That's, I guess being fearful from entering where I think I know I should enter, and then causing me to enter at the secondary best option, which is not a good option. Because it's not like I'm chasing the move. I wait for another entry to present, but it's just like it's already too late to catch the larger part of the move or the main move, right? So yeah, I don't like, let me get in. I don't do that. It's just I'm waiting for a more confirmation, and then by that time it's already done, So I need to continue to try to enter on the first spot where I try to enter, and if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. It was one of my entries. I know that the strategy is profitable, and I see it happen again and again. So they're not all going to work, right? But the thing is, you have to keep taking the same exact setups so that way the probabilities work out and have less setups rather than taking little losses from each one and then you have 6-7 losses in a row, and it's like, well, I took those losses from 5 different setups, so I took one loss from here, then I took one loss from here, then I took one loss from here, and then that's how those add up. So yeah, man, I don't know. I've just felt like I've felt like I've been so close for so long, and yet I'm just still not there, if that makes sense. I mean, maybe some of you guys that have been trading for a while will understand that feeling. Like, every time I come on here and look at my entries and stuff and find trades like that they would have worked out perfectly fine if I entered here, which I know exactly where I should have entered. It's just like, I almost feel like I have a cheat code, and I'm like, it's so easy. It's so easy. How? Not easy. Simple. Simple is the word. It's so simple. How am I still getting freaking smoked every day? Like, I know where it wants to go. I know the entry, and yet I still suck. So it's like, what the heck? But yeah, I'm just going to keep chipping away. I'll get it eventually. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.